Fear Collective, what's up? Thanks for joining me for this very special episode because we are going to be kicking off our first annual Jingle HELL Marathon, celebrating all horror films that are centered in and around the winter season. Now, some of these movies are going to be holiday themed, and some of them are just going to be around the cold or remind me of the cold. It's really what I want to watch. But this episode is going to be an actual holiday film. It is 2016's Better Watch Out. Now, I will say better watch out for this movie because I thought it sucked. I didn't like it, guys. And from what I've read online, that's actually a controversial opinion because this movie has really good reviews. Last I saw, it was in the high 80s on Rotten Tomatoes. And while I think it did some things well, there were a few drawbacks for me that really kind of killed the whole experience. And I don't know, I just didn't enjoy it. I thought it was really annoying. But let's get into it. This is a scares and subtext. I better watch out. So the film follows a babysitter babysitting near the holiday season. I'm not sure if it's Christmas Eve or just around Christmas time, but the tree is up, holiday music is playing, and it's all very holly and jolly. It starts off very formulaic, and I was led to assume that it was just going to be a run-of-the-mill home invasion, there's a guy calling from outside the house type movie. I will say there is a twist that really, really hooked me and was pulled off extremely successfully. And now I'm going to say spoiler alert because there's really no way for me to continue talking about this movie without getting into the nitty gritty of that twist. So, if you haven't seen the movie, pause this, go check it out, form your own opinion about it, and then come back and let me know if I'm just crazy, it's the best movie ever made, or hear me out and let me know if you see where I'm coming from. So, the twist. The babysitter is babysitting this 12-year-old boy who we were introduced to from the very first scene of the movie, and we're led to believe that he's just a sweet little boy, maybe a little bit horny, but what teenager isn't, and we're really meant to sympathize with him. Come to find out, he's actually a sociopath. And to be honest, I called it because the way that he was looking at his babysitter just came off as very rapey to me and was just definitely like throwing up red flags all over the place. I was like, what is this kid? If he's not the killer, he's going to grow up to be one because he was just not rubbing me the right way. Turns out my instincts were right and he was a psychopath. And here's the problem that I have with the movie, is he literally eats the screen up for the whole bulk of the film, and he maintains a position of power throughout the duration of a majority of the movie, which, you know, sometimes happens in horror. There's like the slasher, there's the Freddy or the Jason that's, you know, running after these teenage kids. And in some ways, we're almost meant to cheer those characters on because they're given smart dialogue or they have cool kills. And the fun in the slasher is that we kind of love to hate the slasher itself. In this movie, though, I just freaking hated the kid so much that I really couldn't feel excited about any of his ingenuity. And in fact, it just kind of pissed me off because I thought, why are we making this character super smart and resourceful and intelligent and giving him so much power when the reality is he's a 12-year-old boy. He literally weighs 60 pounds. Like, what are we even doing? The movie introduced us to the main final girl who is immediately established as someone who is intelligent, kind of a no bullshit type girl. She catches the little boy drinking a champagne bottle, or he tries to impress her by drinking a champagne bottle, and she takes it away from him, and then she goes off to the kitchen, and then she takes a swig herself. And it's like, oh, cool, that's relatable. I kind of like her. Only that when the shit hits the fan, she's not given anything to do. She literally sits tied up in a chair for like 45 minutes until, spoiler alert, the conclusion of the film when the parents come home and she just gets carted away in an ambulance and then the movie's over. And for me, it's just such a missed opportunity. Like, why would the filmmaker invest so much time and energy creating all of these sequences that really showcase just how smart and what a mastermind the little boy is, and set up this female character to be witty and intelligent, and then give her nothing to do? To be honest, I kind of felt insulted watching the movie because I feel like this whole thing was simply to celebrate the little kid. And yes, he's a villain, and it's made very explicitly clear that he is crazy. He kills his own best friend. He tries to kill the babysitter, her boyfriend, her ex boyfriend, and then puts on his jammies and goes to sleep at the end of the night. Like everything is fine. But just the amount of screen time that he's given over all of the other characters, his dialogue, his ingenuity with how creative he gets with his whole scheme and his whole plan, just rubbed me the wrong way. I'm like, why are we giving so much time and attention to this type of character when I'm personally interested in the final girl and I want to see how smart she can be to outsmart this 12-year-old boy? Like, why or what? I didn't understand it. So I was reading a review online where someone said they didn't enjoy the film because they felt like it was a fantasy for a teenage boy who got rejected by girls or whatever. And I honestly totally agree. It feels like this movie was made by some dejected 14-year-old boy who thought it would be cool to get revenge on his slut babysitter and her punk boyfriend. And it just seemed very unrelatable for me. I really couldn't root for that type of character. I don't relate to that type of character. Like I said, I liked our final girl, and I feel like she deserved better. All in all, the high points of the film for me were the twist, but once you get past that, it just becomes a slog. If you're looking for holiday horror, I would recommend checking this out because, like I said in the beginning of the video, I think I'm in the minority with this one. From what I understand, this is a very popular holiday film in the horror community, so I would say that it's worth checking out, but I can't say that I am going to add this one to my collection or really ever want to watch it ever again. Overall scares, I'm going to give this a 1 out of 10. It wasn't scary at all. Again, I don't think it was really trying to be. There was a lot of comedy in this movie. It seemed kind of like a dark comedy more than anything, but in the slasher vein. Overall impact, probably a 2 out of 10. It made an impact. It annoyed me, but I don't think I'm going to be thinking about this film very often in the future. And whether or not I suggest buying it, streaming it, or passing on it, like I said, I would stream it. I would check it out. I think I watched it on Prime, but it might also be available on Shudder. Not entirely sure. I would check it out since it is the holidays, and drop a comment down below and let me know your thoughts on the film. Thanks so much for watching, guys. This is the first video in our Jingle Hell Marathon, so stay tuned for more winter horror reviews. And I am continuing to review the Amityville series, so stay tuned for more installments in that review series. Catch you later, guys.